WWE are apparently hot on a SmackDown talent. New matches have been announced for both Full Gear and Survivor Series. And is an AEW star unhappy with Tony Khan's booking? Stay tuned for all the deets. Getting straight into it with the news coming from Mike Johnson of PW Insider. Apparently quite a few people within WWE have been raving about Zelina Vega's performances recently.
Absolutely, specifically pinpointing the November 10th episode of Friday Night SmackDown. That was, of course, Escobar's heel turn, breaking away from Rey Mysterio, the LWO. Rey's obviously been written off. Zelina was fantastic.
Yeah, I think for such a kind of explosive sequence where usually when you see these scenes in wrestling, it's very, you know, all the scenery's getting chewed. It felt quite genuine. She held it together quite well, and I think just seeing her in the middle of all of it, trying to keep everything grounded, and then the ultimate betrayal, obviously Santos, with her and Santos having been, you know, established for so much longer than LWO as a team in its current form. It's no surprise at all.
No, the one thing I think she does really, really well, sometimes these things can be quite hammy.
Yeah.
I think she's just a really, really great actor. I don't know if you've seen recently, it's been shared all over the place, you'll have probably seen it at home, her prank calling Dominic Mysterio on her Twitch stream. She puts on this kid voice. She's playing like an 8-year-old or something like that. But her voice acting is just so amazing, so convincing. You know what? I think she's an amazing manager. I think she's really, really great. I can take or leave seeing her wrestle on a regular basis. But as a performer generally, I think she's really special. And it's good to hear that backstage she's getting the respect that I think she deserves.
I think she's got that quality as well. Just it takes to be a very, very good manager with lasting power, which is that you're not kind of overly, because some managers need to overly elevate the talent, but she's able to just sort of weave in and around the entire thing. When she's needed more, she kind of puts more in. When she's needed less, she just sort of steps back. I think it's just about knowing that sort of stuff, isn't it? Yeah,
she's really, really talented, and I'm just enjoying seeing her week in, week out. Genuinely, fair play to her. She's going to go far, kid.
She was on last night's show as well, of course. She came down to the ring and told Santos Escobar that the only person she hates more than herself, more than him, is herself. The only person she hates more than herself. The only person she hates more than him is herself for ever trusting him. Vega then slapped Escobar across the face before leaving the ring, and then Cruz Del Toro and Joaquin Wilde then appeared, summoned by Santos, who claimed credit for their success. However, when Del Toro and Wilde refrained from sort of being like, yeah, we owe everything to you, buddy, that's right, it all kind of went sideways, and then we had Carlito have to come out and sort of get involved and break everything up a bit.
Save the day.
Yeah.
And a new match has been announced for Survivor Series. Off the back of this, we are going to see Carlito versus the former LWO man Santos Escobar, which I think should be really, really good.
I thought it would have been Zelina versus herself after what I just said.
I think it's brilliant, and I think this gets Santos off to a really, really great start because he's going to beat Carlito. Oh God, Carlito, well-respected veteran. This is what Carlito's been brought back for, to elevate the people that surround him. I didn't expect it to be happening quite this soon. But I think it's great booking. I think it's really, really good booking.
Absolutely. Well, just looking at the Survivor Series card itself, we've got the men's War Games match, of course, Judgment Day, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominic Mysterio with JD McDonough versus Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and Cody Rhodes.
We've got the women's War Games match. We now know that is Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, and Shotzi taking on Damage Control, Asuka, Bayley, Io, and Kyrie.
And don't forget to vote for who you'd like to have the advantage in that match in the official Ruffles poll on WWE.com. We've got the Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley defending against Zoe Stark.
Intercontinental Championship is on the line as Gunther defends against The Miz.
And of course, Carlito versus Santos Escobar, which we just touched on there.
5 matches so far. I think that's shaping up to be a really good card. I don't expect to see too many more announced. We might get to 7 or so, but with the War Games matches going a bit longer, that's probably the limit. And we're only a week away now. Yeah,
maybe we'll get one of those kind of just quiet, unannounced matches that doesn't really go very long. But
maybe a pre-show match.
Possibly.
Maybe a pre-show match. We saw the return of the pre-show match in Saudi Arabia. We could see another one. I haven't got a segue here, but if you want Cultaholic merch, Where can they go, Sam?
You can go to cultaholicshop.com. Our Black Friday sale is now live for one whole week. 50% off absolutely everything. There's t-shirts, hoodies, badges, mugs. There's all sorts of unique one-off items. There's jizzy socks. There's one-off items like Tom's Barry the Shark, all signed. There's just everything. There's Christmas cards. It's coming up to Christmas. Get yourself a pack of Christmas cards, everybody.
50% off. I don't know how we do it. Segue. New matches, or new match announced for Full Gear, and a bit of a change to an existing match. We have now got, and I think this is going to be an absolute barn burner. It's on the pre-show. We are going to see Claudio Castagnoli taking on Buddy Matthews. It all kicked off yesterday between the Blackpool Combat Club and House of Black guys, when Claudio basically went, hey, he comes out and he's saying, oh, is it all right if you have this match? Are you going to need to ask permission?
And then Buddy runs backstage and goes, ooh, Malachi, can I have a match, please?
Long story short, basically. But it's been announced, Tony Khan has made it official on X, and that is going to be on the 0 hour pre-show ahead of the pay-per-view, which takes place tonight. You can watch live reactions with Tom and Fraser.
I did enjoy Claudio just sort of saying, like, I'm not leaving the Kia Forum without having a match. Like, come on. Like,
that should be a barn burner, man.
Yeah. I think putting those two up against each other, I'm always a big fan of Clash of Styles bouts, and you know that these two can just thoroughly impress when they're just given the space to work, right?
Easy peasy, isn't it?
We've got a new stipulation also added to the AEW tag title match on the show. It's now going to be a ladder match. So on last night's Collision, Ricky Starks announced that he'd added a ladder match stip to Saturday's Full Gear match between himself and Big Bill, Rush and Drilistico, FTR, and Kings of the Black Throne. So we're going to have just a whole new level of excitement thrown into this one. I'm always a fan of like big sort of multi-man tags anyway, but when you start adding elements, ladders and crazy stuff like that, and you're sort of also opening up the field to a lot more weaponry and just insanity, right?
Yeah, for sure. Don't get me wrong, I was really looking forward to this match anyway. 4 really good teams, but I think AEW do ladder matches really well. I really enjoy almost every ladder match that AEW have put on.
They're well paced.
Yeah, they are. Did this need the extra bells and whistles? Perhaps not. Am I glad they're there? Yeah, absolutely.
You're going to be buzzing if you've got tickets, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you've seen a ladder match now live, but
should we? Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, should we look ahead to the full card?
Go on, let's do it. We've got 3 matches on the pre-show. First of all, the Ring of Honor World Championship is on the line as Eddie Kingston takes on Jay Lethal.
We've got the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships on the line as MJF and Samoa Joe.
It's Joe. Yeah. It's happening. Joe is indeed MJF's partner.
Going up against the Guns, Austin and Colton.
We have got Claudio Castagnoli versus Buddy Matthews. We just mentioned that one.
Hikaru Shida versus Timeless Tony Storm in a singles match for the AEW Women's World title.
That's not on the pre-show, by the way. We're on the main card now.
We've moved on. He did say 3. We've gone past the 3.
We have got It's Sting, Darby Allin and Adam Copeland with Ric Flair.
Of course.
Sorry. Taking on the Patriarchy.
How
Christian
many
Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. I'm dreading genuinely, by the way, Flair turning on Sting. I'm really worried. It won't happen, but there's part of me that's just like, no.
I was watching some old WCW not long ago, and I like when Ric Flair had his little banquet table, right? Let's just give him the banquet table again. It's like halfway down the ramp. He's got somebody fanning him. He looks like a big deal celebrity or whatever. But instead of like a turkey and all of this fruit like some sort of Roman feast, it's just all of his energy drink. And you're just watching Ric Flair pounding these high caffeine drinks all night. Just keeps cutting back to him, and he keeps just giving a little thumbs up as he's sweating more and more.
It's an idea.
Yeah, Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley in a singles match for the International Championship.
The one that I'm most hyped for is the Texas Death Match. Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve.
That back and forth, man.
They're on fire, both of them right now. It's really renewed my interest in Adam Page, and Swerve is just the bollocks.
We've got the Golden Jets, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus the Young Bucks. If the Golden Jets win, they'll get the Young Bucks AEW World Tag Team title opportunity. But if the Bucks win, the Golden Jets must disband as a team forever.
The TBS title is on the line. Chris Statlander taking on Julia Hart, taking on Sky Blue. 3-way match there.
We've got Ricky Starks and Big Bill, who are the current champions, versus La Faction, Ingobernable, Rush and Drilistico, with Jose the Assistant, versus FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Howard, versus Kings of the Black Throne, Malachi Black and Brody King, in a 4-way tag team ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team titles.
I really enjoyed that with Jose the Assistant. Thanks. Yeah, good point. Yeah. And finally, the AEW World title is on the line as MJF takes on Jay White.
It's a hell of a card.
There's a lot going on.
I don't know at what time it's going to end.
Yeah, best of luck, Tom and Fraser. We're finishing with a really interesting one that is causing a little bit of controversy online. And we don't always do these like
it's very speculative.
Person likes tweet.
Yeah,
but there's some interesting words within this tweet.
Thumb, you know?
Yeah, it could be. It's happened to the best of us. Matt Hardy, seemingly, if you're reading into this, seemingly unhappy with Tony Khan's booking. Justin LaBar tweeted out, oh so prestigious after Joe defended it, then vacated it, talking about the Ring of Honor title there. Yeah. Tony is passionate, which is awesome, but I feel he is a giddy fan with money who loves matchmaking pro wrestling matches. Stories win out. Good wrestling bell to bell. Work rate resonates with a small percentage of people. Characters, gimmicks, stars.
Kind of hard to argue.
No, I don't disagree with that at all. I think that's spot on. But the optics of Matt Hardy liking that particular tweet when it's like sort of ragging on Tony Khan a little bit.
Yeah.
I will say I love the Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
One of my favourite teams,
of course,
of all time. Matt's right in if he agrees with that sentiment, Matt's totally right. It just doesn't reflect too well, and they're standing right. There's talk about them going to Ring of Honor full time.
Yeah.
One of the biggest tag teams in the world, just going to sort of be thrown over there. At the same time, they can't go in the way that they could before, could they? It's a different Hardy Boys now.
But at the same time, I feel like a lot of sign-ins get a lot of hype. Like, and obviously with the Hardys sort of being reunited and everything, there was such buzz, and then it does just feel like there is this kind of focus, and then there's like hyper focus on a situation or a group of talent, and then it's sort of like the eye of Sauron. It just sort of moves to an entirely different thing, and then everything else is left in the dark a little bit for a while, and then it's like, oh god, yes, and then it goes back to that.
In this case, I think you can sort of forgive it. The legal issues obviously got in the way of things. They're just not the same Hardy Boys. I find it a bit sad. I find it a bit uncomfortable to watch, I guess, because Matt can't move like he used to. Jeff can't move like he used to. It's especially noticeable with Matt. Yeah. But it is spot on. Character for me anyway. That's why I tune into wrestling. Stories, characters.
Yeah, the era that I got into it, that was it, right?
Yeah, for sure. So we'll keep you updated on that. I doubt it'll go anywhere. And maybe it was a slip of the thumb, as you say.
But that was it for your second dose of lovely bumper weekend wrestling news. We may be back later on if anything drastic breaks, but if not, have a lovely weekend, and we'll catch you next week.